Greetings and welcome to the exciting second round of our quarterfinals, where one team will eventually go on to a national championship. For the next half hour, you're going to be watching the Rosemount Irish square off against the Columbia Heights Highlanders. Half hour of the most impressive academic action you're bound to see. We'll be back with that first question in just a moment.
Live from Studio North, this is another televised match of the Minnesota High School Quiz Bowl, a round-robin tournament of knowledge featuring high school teams from throughout the greater metropolitan area. The Minnesota High School Quiz Bowl Incorporated receives primary administrative and operational funding by the law firms of Robbins, Kaplan, Miller, and Cerisi, 3M, Super Value, the Minnesota AFL-CIO, EPA Audio Visual Incorporated, and by the participating teams. This telecast is produced by students in the television production program, part of the Arts and Communication Magnet at North Community High School, and is simulcast on KBEM-FM 88.5. And now, here's the moderator of the Minnesota High School Quiz Bowl, George Leiter.
We're back and we're ready to get started. We're going to start this round with a series of rapid round questions worth from 5 to 20 points. Teams, let's start with this 15-pointer. Bulgarian students have been protesting on both sides of the issue. The controversy centers around the teaching of a language in schools. Which language?
Wodarz, Rosemount.
Russian?
That's incorrect. Can you take it, Columbia Heights?
Pryzbilla, Columbia Heights.
English.
No, it's Turkish. How about this 10-pointer? This gift pack includes the Big Book of Science, a sampler cassette, an honorary master's degree, and for an additional 10 spot, a smug mug that reads, I know more than you do. Whose gift pack is it?
Yuen, Rosemount.
Carl Sagan.
Incorrect. Can you take it, Columbia Heights?
Roberts, Columbia Heights.
Donald Trump.
No, it's Dr. Science. How about this 5-pointer? They are called silver swirls and come in 24 colors. They will sell for about 40% more than their waxy cousins. What are...
Wodarz,
Color
Rosemount.
crayons.
Crayons is right for 5 points. For 10 points, Tonya Harding won a national figure skating championship last week. One of the keys to her success was her completion...
Johnson, Rosemount.
Triple axel.
Triple axel's right for 10 points. For 10 points, 20 people were executed after participating in a mutiny against their commander. Evidence of continuing turmoil in...
Yuen, Rosemount.
Iraq.
I'll finish. In which controversial political organization in the Mideast?
Time.
That's the Palestinian Liberation Organization. How about this 5-pointer? The America has just joined the Theodore Roosevelt, the Midway, and the Ranger in the Persian Gulf.
Johnson, Rosemount.
Aircraft carrier.
Aircraft carriers, that's right, for 5 points. Despite the absence of the idiot anchorman, the rest of the staff made quite a splash by getting back.
Yuen, Rosemount.
Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Mary Tyler Moore Show's right for 5. For 10 points, the FAA plans to build a new radar control center for the nation's busiest airport.
Yuen, Rosemount.
O'Hare Airport.
O'Hare is right for 10 points. For 10 points, write down these names: Prudence, Stacy, Beth, and Bunny. Now write down these attributes: cheerfulness, femininity, morality, and warmth. In a recent study of first impressions, which names were linked with which attributes?
Time.
Prudence is to morality, Stacy cheerfulness, Beth warmth, and Bunny femininity. Tough one to guess on there. How about this 15-pointer? His opponent challenged him to limit his campaign spending to $40,000, but he spent nearly 5 times that to win himself the election, the most ever spent in the Minnesota legislature. In an ironic and disillusioning twist, his first act there was to grandstand for a major tightening up of the state's campaign spending regulations. Who is he?
Time.
It's Ted Mondale. How about this 15-pointer? Which Serbian terrorist killed Archduke Ferdinand?
Pryzbilla, Columbia Heights.
No answer.
And I'll finish Archduke Francis Ferdinand.
Tapp, Rosemount.
Princip.
Princip is right for 15 points. For 5 points, into how many colored regions is the visible spectrum traditionally divided?
Reiners, Columbia Heights.
7.
7's right for 5. For 15, he was such a horrible ruler that many experts, and we won't have time to finish that question. Let's take a quick check of the score now. We have Rosemount leaping out to a 50-to-5 lead after the first period of play. We do have plenty of action ahead, but let's take a second now to meet the teams in tonight's contest, and let's begin with the Rosemount Irish.
I'm Phillip Johnson. I'm a junior at Rosemount.
Hi, I'm Patrick, the Patster, Panorama. There's George. He's asking the questions. And Bill, he be doing the tough decisions. I'm Patrick. Here's Ed. Edwin. Yuen. The Edster. The captain.
Hi, I'm Edwin Yuen. I like subliminal messages and short, big-breasted blonde women with no IQ.
Hi, I'm Nathan Wodarz. I'm a senior, and I would like to dedicate this round to those personifications of perfection, Kimo Gundecker and Sridhar Rao.
And there's the now notorious team from Rosemount, and they're being coached by Mary Keuttner, who's at my side this evening. Now let's swing the cameras over and meet the team from Columbia Heights.
Hi, I'm Faye Heyn. I'm a junior at Columbia Heights, and I'm glad I'm not blonde.
Hi, my name is Jeremy Roberts. I'm a Columbia Heights senior and also the host of Dating Quiz. Today we have two contestants, neither of whom has had a date in the past 4 years. Let's meet them.
Hi, my name is Pryzbilla. I'm a senior at Columbia Heights High School, and my hero is Edwin, the Euster, the U-Meister, the U-Pizzi, UE.
Hi, my name's Mike Reiners. I'm a freshman at Columbia Heights, and my favorite numbers are all real numbers divisible by pi.
And there we have the imaginative squad from Columbia Heights, and they're being coached. There's a Ralph Karki at my side here. And now we're going to swing the cameras over to meet the final person in our contest. That's Bill Stock, our judge in tonight's contest. And Bill, can you tell us about these quarterfinal playoffs?
Well, you bet, George. We just finished the first of the matches, and Burnsville came out to a 295-275 win over Mounds Park Academy. Right now we've got Rosemount and Columbia Heights. Then we'll move on to St. Paul Academy and St. Anthony Village at 7:30 and Edina at Apple Valley at 8:30. So, and then please join us next week too when we have the quarterfinals, semifinals rather, and the finals.
All right, well, let's now go to that second period of play. And in this period of play, a 10-point toss-up will earn a bonus for the team that answers correctly. Let's start with this 10-pointer. He was such a horrible ruler that many experts wondered if he was not killed by his own Aztecs rather than by the Spanish. Who was this Aztec who thought the Spanish were gods?
Tapp, Rosemount.
Quetzalcoatl.
That's incorrect. Can you take it, Columbia Heights?
Time.
It's Montezuma. How about this 10-pointer, and it's a quick one. Spell the word tuberculosis.
Tapp, Rosemount.
Tuberculosis.
That is correct for 10 points, and you get this bonus question as a result. Answer these questions about modern Spanish history for 10 points each. First, this fascist leader in the Spanish Civil War assumed power in 1939 and kept totalitarian rule until his death in 1975.
Franco.
Correct. And another 10-pointer. On Franco's death in 1975, this man became king of Spain. Who is he?
Carlos.
More information.
The first.
And we need Juan Carlos there. You did get 10 points on the bonus. And here's another 10-point toss-up. Addis Ababa is the two-word capital of Ethiopia. What is the only three-word capital in Africa?
Wodarz, Rosemount.
Dar es Salaam.
That is correct, in Tanzania. So that's good for 10, and here's your bonus. Identify the year from events which occurred during it. You'll get 30 if you get this after one clue, 20 after two, and 10 after three. You may answer after each clue. Lewis Carroll writes Alice in Wonderland, and Joseph Lister performs antiseptic surgery.
1868.
That's incorrect. We go to a second clue. The 13th Amendment is ratified, and the Ku Klux Klan is formed.
Johnson's administration. 65. Go with
1865.
That is right for 20 points. And we go now to this toss-up question. If a bird, soon after its birth, is exposed to a human and its first moving object, it is considered that person its mother. Give the term for this rapid learning in response to a specific...
Reiners, Columbia Heights.
Mothering.
That's incorrect, and we'll finish in response to a specific individual or object.
Wodarz, Rosemount.
Imprinting.
Imprinting is right for 10 points. Very good, and that earns you this bonus question. Knowing your opera composers can make you sing for 25 points. Given an opera, identify the composer, each for 5 points. First, La Boheme.
Puccini.
Correct. Next is Fidelio.
Puccini.
That's Beethoven. Don Giovanni.
Dance, please.
Verdi.
That's Mozart. The next is Aida.
Verdi.
That's correct. And finally, Tannhauser.
Wagner.
Wagner. So you did get for 15 points, and that takes us to another 10-point toss-up. They are created when you drill into an inclined aquifer where water is trapped under pressure. This pressure forces water...
Pryzbilla, Columbia Heights.
Well.
More information.
Incline well.
Tapp, Rosemount.
Artesian well?
Artesian well is what we needed for 10 points, and that earns you this bonus question. Identify this statesman. You'll get 25 after one clue, 10 or 5 if it takes more clues. He was Chancellor of the Exchequer from 1924 to 1929 and wrote a history of the English-speaking peoples.
Churchill.
That's right, for all 25 points. How about this 10-pointer? Born Ruoila Hendi in 1900, he was a professor of theology at Qom. In 1963, he was exiled to Turkey and moved to Paris in 1978. Who is this now dead Iranian leader?
Tapp, Rosemount.
Shaw?
No, that's incorrect. And can you take it? Columbia Heights.
Pryzbilla, Columbia Heights.
That's all to me.
That is right for 10 points, and that earns you this bonus question. Given a clue about the name of a state capital, name the capital and the state. First for 5 points. Its name is shared by a space shuttle.
Columbia.
That's right for 5 for 10. It shares the name of the Massachusetts town featured in the play The Crucible.
Salem.
That's correct. And finally, for 10 points, it shares its name with the underground society found in A Boy and His Dog.
Madison.
That's Topeka, Kansas. But you did get 15 points on the bonus. And here's another toss-up. Though they were designed to be reasonably priced modern equivalents of the British two-seater sports car of this...
Pryzbilla, Columbia Heights.
Mazda Miata.
That is correct for 10 points. Good anticipation earns you this bonus question. For 5 points each, answer the following questions about literary titles. First, in Willa Cather's novel, who does death come for?
Yes, please.
No answer.
It's the Archbishop. In Oliver Goldsmith's novel, where is Charles Primrose the Vicar?
Paris.
The answer there is Wakefield. In Thomas Hardy's novel, who is returning?
No answer.
The Native. And finally, in George Bernard's play, what rank is Barbara?
Yes, please.
Corporal.
I know she's a major, so no points on that tough bonus, but let's go to another toss-up for both teams to try. Give the meaning of the acronym NATO.
Reiners, Columbia Heights.
North Atlantic Treaty Organization.
That's right for 10 points, and Columbia Heights has this bonus to try now. You'll see a rise in the value of your score if you can supply these terms from economics that fit these descriptions. First, for 5 points, an increase in the volume of money and credit relative to available goods and the resulting increase in price levels.
Inflation.
That's right for 5. For another 5, a sudden decline or failure in a business or financial market.
Bankruptcy.
And we need a crash there. And for 15 points, the term coined by economists for the economy of the early 70s when the increased money supply did not bring about the predicted revitalization of the economy.
Stagflation.
That's right. So 20 points for Columbia Heights on the bonus, and now we go to another toss-up. The Pyrenees Mountains form a natural border between...
Roberts, Columbia Heights.
France and Spain.
France and Spain, that's right for 10 points, and Columbia Heights gets a crack at this bonus. Often a nation's capital is its largest city, but in the case of the following countries, that's not so. For 5 points each, tell me, according to most recent censuses, which is the largest city in these countries. First, Brazil.
Buenos Aires.
No, it's Sao Paulo. Next is Australia.
Sydney.
That's correct. Next is Pakistan.
Karachi.
That's correct. China.
Beijing.
No, it's Shanghai there. And finally, Switzerland.
Zurich.
That's right. Get 3 right for 15 points as we end that first half. We're going to take just a second to tally the score after our first 2 periods of play. While we do that, we'd like you to learn a little bit more about some of the organizations that help bring you Minnesota High School Quiz Bowl. We'll be right back.
The Minnesota High School Quiz Bowl Incorporated receives primary administrative and operational funding from the University of St. Thomas and St. Paul. Additional support is provided by the law firm of Robbins, Kaplan, Miller, and Cerisi, 3M, Super Value, the Minnesota AFL-CIO, EPA Audio Visual Incorporated, and by the participating teams. This program is made possible with the assistance of the Minneapolis Public Schools Department of Vocational Technical Education and Department of Educational Media Services, the Arts and Communication Major at North Community High School, KBEM Minneapolis 88.5 FM, and Studio North Television. Meals for the Quiz Bowl crew are provided by Taco Bell, 425 West Broadway, Subway, 521 West Broadway, and McDonald's, 1256 Penn Avenue North. Transmission and distribution of this program is provided by MTN, the Minneapolis Television Network, and by your local cable company.
We're back and we've got that score for you. Columbia Heights has tightened it up a bit. Now Rosemount leads 160-95. Let's see what happens in this third period of play where again 10-point toss-ups earn bonuses for the teams that answer correctly. Teams, let's begin with this 10-pointer. Which tree is distinguished from others by its production of acorns?
Pryzbilla, Columbia Heights.
Oak tree.
That's right for 10, and that quick answer gets you this bonus. Here's a question out of your chemistry textbook. First, for 5 points, and I need to give you these names, Bronsted-Lowry, Arrhenius, and Lewis are used to describe what type of chemicals?
Yes, please.
Gases.
No, that's acids or bases. Now for 10 points, of those three, which is used to name an acid which is a proton donor or a base which is a proton acceptor?
Arrhenium.
Nope, that's Bronsted-Lowry. And finally, for 10 points, which is used to describe an acid that can accept a pair of electrons or a base that can donate a pair of electrons?
Uranium.
No, that one was Lewis, so no points on that bonus. But how about this toss-up, teams? They are characterized as having a segmented body covered by jointed exoskeleton with paired jointed appendages. They are the largest and
Wodarz, Rosemount.
Crustaceans.
no, I'll finish. The most diverse invertebrate phylum. What are they?
Time.
Time was called, that's arthropods. That's a tough one. How about this 10-pointer, teams? The two of them were dispatched for 3 reasons. To strengthen U.S. claims in the Oregon.
Pryzbilla, Columbia
Lewis and
Heights.
Clark.
Lewis and Clark is right for 10 points, and that answers you this bonus question. For 5 points each, supply the literary color that describes or fits the following literary titles. First, John Steinbeck's Pony.
Red.
That's correct. Zane Grey's Sage.
Black.
That's purple sage there. Arthur Conan Doyle's Pips.
Pink.
That's orange. And finally, Ian Fleming's Gun.
Golden. Golden.
That's right. So 10 points on a bonus for Columbia Heights, and we go to this 10-point toss-up. Designed for a Paris exposition of 1889, it can...
Roberts, Columbia Heights.
Eiffel Tower.
Eiffel Tower's right for 10 points, and here's your bonus. In this bonus, I'll give you 5 musical tempos, and you place them in order from slowest to fastest for 5 points each, but a wrong answer will stop you. They are Presto, Adagio, Andante, Largo, and Allegro.
Can I defer?
Yes.
Begin your answer, please.
Largo, Adagio, Andante, Allegro, Presto.
All right for 25 points, and that tightens as a tie game as near as we can tell. Let's go to this 10-pointer. Identify the group of knightly lyric poets and poet-musicians of southern France and northern Italy from the 1000s to the 1200s who wrote poems of love and chivalry.
Tapp, Rosemount.
The Romanticists.
That's incorrect. Can you take it, Columbia Heights?
Heyn, Columbia Heights.
Troubadour?
Troubadour is right for 10 points, and here's your bonus. For 5 points each, what constitutional amendment deals with the following issues? First, the right to trial by jury.
6.
That's 7. How about barring poll tax in federal elections?
24.
That's right. Direct election of senators.
Yes, please.
11.
No, that's 17. Giving residents of Washington, D.C. national voting rights.
23.
That's correct. And finally, giving women the right to vote.
19.
That's right. 3 right for 15 points, and that takes us now to another toss-up question. Which South American country uses the sol as its monetary unit in the Spanish and Quichua Quechua as its official languages. The Incan Indians built a great empire.
Pryzbilla, Columbia Heights.
Peru.
Peru is right for 10 points, and here's your bonus. Identify this British author from a list of clues. You'll get 25 after one clue, 15 after two, or 10 after three, and you may answer all 3 times. First, he died in 1822 as a result of a boating accident off the coast of Italy, and his body was cremated on the shore by Byron.
Answer?
Keats.
That's incorrect. I'll finish here. Or another clue. His first important poem was Queen Mab, and his poem Adonais was inspired by the death of Keats.
Byron.
And now I'll finish here. His greatest poems include Ode to the West Wind and Prometheus Unbound.
No answer.
That's Percy Bysshe Shelley. So no points on the bonus, but how about this toss-up, teams? During which U.S. president's term of office was the Erie Canal completed?
Pryzbilla, Columbia Heights.
Jackson.
That's incorrect, and I'll finish in 1825.
Wodarz, Rosemount.
John Quincy Adams.
That is right for 10 points, and Rosemount's got back on track here with this bonus question coming their way. The B-complex vitamins go in by two different names, the B number and a corresponding name. For 5 points each, give the number for the following B vitamins. First, thiamine.
B12.
That's B1. Next is cyanocobalamin.
B12.
That's correct. Next is riboflavin.
B2.
B2 is correct, and finally is peroxidine.
B6.
That's right, 15 points for Rosemount on the bonus. Now let's go to this 10-point toss-up. It is the change in the wavelength and frequency of a wave as the result of a motion of either the source or receiver of the waves. What is it?
Wodarz, Rosemount.
Phase shift.
No, that's incorrect. Can you take it Columbia Heights?
Time.
That's the Doppler effect, and that brings us to the end of 3 periods of play. Let's take a quick check of the score. We've got Columbia Heights now on top 195 to 185, so anything can happen. We're going to finish now with the 4th quarter rapid round questions, again worth from 5 to 20 points. Teams, let's begin with this 20-pointer. Pile the bodies high at Austerlitz and Waterloo. Shovel them under and let me work. I am the blank. I cover it all. Supply the missing word in the opening lines of Carl Sandburg's poem, and you have given its title.
Pryzbilla.
The Emperor.
No, that's incorrect.
Yuen, Rosemount.
Bonfire of the Vanities.
No, it's grass. How about 15-pointer here? Born Magritte Zell, she left her husband in Indonesia in 1904 and became Paris's biggest star as the Eye of the Dawn, an Oriental temple dancer. She's also acted as a spy for the Germans. Who was this woman?
Pryzbilla, Columbia
Axis
Heights.
Rose.
No, incorrect. Executed in 1917.
Wodarz, Rosemount.
Mata Hari.
Correct for 15. For 5, identify the machine in theoretical physics that, once set in motion, would go on forever by creating its own.
Pryzbilla, Columbia Heights.
Pendulum.
No, but
Wodarz, Rosemount.
Perpetual motion machine.
that's right for 5. For 15, identify the 2 peninsulas of Mexico.
Tapp, Rosemount.
Yucatan and Baja.
That's right for 15. For 15, identify the German minister of propaganda who became the master of the...
Pryzbilla, Columbia Heights.
Goebbels.
Yes, correct for 15. For 15, which New England capital's name means from the same mind?
Time.
Concord, New Hampshire. For 5 points, the Synodic has 29 days, 12 hours, 44 minutes, 3 seconds. The Sidereal has 27 days.
Wodarz, Rosemount.
Month.
Month is right for 5. For 20 points, occurring in May 31st, 1916, it was the only major naval engagement between the German and British fleets in World War I.
Tapp, Rosemount.
Sinking of the Bismarck.
No, I'll finish. Name this battle.
Time.
Jutland. For 20 points, it is the name given to the period in U.S. history between 1817 and 1823 after the decline of the Federalist Party. What is this term used to describe the presidency of James Monroe?
Pryzbilla, Columbia Heights.
Manifest Destiny.
Incorrect. Can you take it, Rosemount?
Time.
Era of Good Feeling. For 10 points. For which team was Paul Molitor playing during the...
Yuen, Rosemount.
Brewers.
Correct for 10 points. For 20 points, give the term used in opera for a short musical passage that identifies...
Reiners, Columbia Heights.
No, incorrect. Certain ideas, places, and characters when they first appear in the drama.
Wodarz, Rosemount.
Libretto.
No, it's leitmotif. For 10 points, find 1/5 of 1% of 550.
Pryzbilla, Columbia Heights.
1.1.
That's right for 10. For 5 points, from the Hebrew word for proper, it is the term applied to the...
Tapp, Rosemount.
Kosher.
Correct for 15 points. He had been president of Yale and president of the National League, but his
Pryzbilla, Columbia Heights. Time.
and untimely death made him the shortest serving...
Johnson, Rosemount.
Bart Giamatti.
That's right for 15. For 20, identify the Secretary of Labor of the Reagan Cabinet who resigned on March 9th.
Pryzbilla, Columbia Heights.
Incorrect. 1985, months after he became the first cabinet officer indicted. In 1987, he was acquitted of larceny charges brought against the New York Subways Construction Company.
Yuen, Rosemount.
Brady.
No, it's Donovan. For 10 points, give the month that completes William Shakespeare's lines from The Winter's Tale. Daffodils that come before the swallow dares and takes the winds of blank with beauty.
Tapp, Rosemount.
March.
Correct for 10. For 10, in Article 3, Section 3 of the U.S. Constitution, what crime is defined as levying war against the United States?
Wodarz, Rosemount.
Treason.
Is right for 10. For 5, about 3 times a decade, they undergo a population explosion that forces them to set out in search of food. When they come to the ocean, they leap in.
Heyn, Columbia Heights.
Right for 5. For 20 points, The Haunting of Hill House would put horror in a realistic everyday setting, a characteristic of her work. Name this author of We Have Always Lived in the Castle and the Lottery.
Yuen, Rosemount.
Jackie Collins.
No, can you take it? Columbia Heights.
Time.
Shirley Jackson for 10 points. This law states that the electric current I flowing through a given resistance R is equal, and that we're all out of time. We're going to take a second to tabulate the score in another rapid-paced game. We'll be back with that score after you learn a little bit more about one of the schools in tonight's contest, Rosemount. We'll be right back.
Rosemount High School has long been recognized for its major emphasis on instruction, programs, and services to its students. Rosemount High School was recently recognized by the state of Minnesota and the United States Department of Education as a school of excellence. This prestigious recognition serves as a validation that students have access to the very best education available. Currently serving 8 suburban communities, Rosemount High School provides a comprehensive offering of curricular and co-curricular activities to all students. Our purpose at Rosemount High School is to help students acquire the knowledge, skills, and attitudes which will enable them to achieve their potential as lifelong learners and productive citizens.
And we've got the final score. Rosemount pulled this one out, 280 to Columbia Heights, 225. But a fine game from 2 strong teams, 2 of the top 8, in fact, in the state. We hope you'll join us for the remaining 2 games in our quarterfinals and all the rest of the games that lead to one team from our state going on to a national championship. Until that game, we'll see you next time. This is George Leiter from Minnesota Quiz Bowl. So long.
This has been another televised match of the Minnesota High School Quiz Bowl, featuring 44 teams from throughout the greater metropolitan area. The Minnesota High School Quiz Bowl Incorporated receives primary administrative and operational funding from the University of St. Thomas and St. Paul. Additional support is provided by the law firm of Robbins, Kaplan, Miller, and Cerisi, 3M, Super Value, the Minnesota AFL-CIO, EPA Audio Visual Incorporated, and by the participating teams. This telecast is produced by students in the television production program, part of the Arts and Communication Unit at North Community High School, and is simulcast on KBEM-FM 88.5. This program is made possible with the assistance of the Minneapolis Public Schools Department of Vocational Technical Education and Department of Educational Media Services. Also, the Arts and Communication Unit at North Community High School, KBEM Minneapolis 88.5 FM, and Studio North Television. Meals for the Quiz Bowl crew are provided by Taco Bell, 425 West Broadway, Subway, 521 West Broadway, and McDonald's, 1256 Penn Avenue North. Transmission and distribution of this program is provided by MTN, the Minneapolis Television Network, and by your local cable company. The executive producer of Minnesota High School Quiz Bowl is David Nielsen. The production coordinator is Paul Kelly. The Quiz Bowl coordinator is Vicki Griggs. And the director of fundraising is Michael Menzel. This program is produced by Tamara Little and Scott Dubowski. This has been Jenny Brown. Be sure to join us next time for another televised match of the Minnesota High School Quiz Bowl.